Well, hello, welcome to Drawing with Fire. I'm Valarie, your neighborhood pyrography artist, and I'm joined with
Hubcap. Alright.
Today we're working on the sweater. So I didn't get as far into my burning as I wanted to for today, but we'll live. So I'm going to back it out real quick. And what I do like is, just with these, what we could call blobs for the button, when you look on camera, it looks like a real button. So I'm happy with that. I did darken her hair a bit, and now we are going into the sweater. So let's go closely. I'm going to have to angle this. I'm heating up the 18S. Let's see here we go. Alrighty. So on our photo, I'm going to look at the lighter one. We can see the knit pattern right here at Grandma's arm. But everywhere further back, as it gets away from the camera, we see less of the detail. So we need to pay attention to that, because we don't need to put this detail all the way across, because then it will stand out more and not feel angled. The perspective will feel off. And then we have the ribbing of the knit right here, and we have a little bit of detail in that. Let's see here what photo I got up. I'm going to switch it over to, hopefully, this photo. It's going to be dark, but maybe that'll help show something. I don't know. We'll see. If not, I'll put it back on the lighter one. So it also, I can see in this photo that the button I did here was a little too dark. But once I get all this other parts in, it should balance it out. Now, fabric drapes. So what we're seeing here are the drapes. We're going to have shading where the seam of the body and the arm come together. So we need to make sure and have that. And it's a really dark seam down here where the fabric rolls. It's not a fold, it's a roll. It gets darker along the top of her chest. And then we have a light hitting back here, so we can see that's lighter. You can see that better in the dark photo. And this is where the light is hitting, so she's backlit more so than she's got light hitting from the top. What that tells me, the Grandma's backlit, so there's a light back here, and that's why we get the lighter hairs along the edge. And then there's a light back up here that makes this area of her face lighter, and also a little bit lighter on the fabric here. Not much, and actually on your dark photo it doesn't look as much. So that's what we're going to be focusing on. I'm not going to get in a tizzy trying to make sure that I have every little piece of knit look correct, because in the scheme of things, people aren't going to be looking at each dot. They're going to be looking at the whole photo or the whole burning. And so as long as I've got hints of the knit, that's all that matters. I'm going to fold my photo. Let's say hi to everybody. Kathy, Spence, Burl, Andrea, Cindy. I know I miss Sheila, Val, Shirley.
Burl.
Yeah, I got Burl. I got Burl.
Wait, I'm missing some Val. Daniels.
Yeah, I just got Val.
Okay.
It's like saying hi to myself. Always so weird to say hi to myself. Hi, Val. Alrighty. So we are going to start with the dark right here first. And we don't really see the knit pattern because it's inward, meaning two things are folding. And so we are getting a shadow in the valley of that fold. I did a sanding blog that I posted on Sunday, and I talked about, in regards to the wood grain, mountaintops and valleys. Well, for lighting, it's the same thing. So we don't see any detail in the valley. Alrighty. Should be hot enough, and 1.5 may not be hot.
Spence is asking a question.
Mm-hmm.
Spence lost his picture for one of his pieces, and he doesn't have easy access to it in front of him. Can he use his iPad to see the picture?
Oh no, absolutely. Use your iPad, your phone. I normally have a printout so that I can keep looking right here as I'm working and doing the live. But I also normally, when I'm burning, have my reference photo up on my computer monitor so I can zoom in, see closer. Absolutely.
Yeah, you can save a tree.
Save a tree.
And then also you can zoom in and stuff, which is
Yep.
nice.
So I'm not going in the full darkness. I probably could still zoom in more. Get the camera on the face.
My eye is twitching.
Why is your eye twitching?
Probably because they've been on Photoshop.
So I'm tapping in with just the tip of my pen because where we do see the knit of the sweater arm coming down is not a straight line. We see the knit's the top of the knit. So hard to sometimes explain this. And
Top of the knit. Too.
Top of the knit. And they're going in this direction, whereas the knit for the body is going in this direction. And that's just how it was knit and then connected. So I'm just going to tap in so that I can always adjust this later. That this way I can see what's going on when I go to the arm. And I don't have to make the knit big. Now, if you're doing a shirt that has, say, a checkerboard pattern on it, you need to make sure and follow the pattern on that. Meaning, the checkerboard may come down this way, and then it goes down this way, just like with the knit sweater. And the checkerboard's not going to be perfect. And the squares are going to follow whatever they're wrapping around. So an arm is going to be a long checker that goes around and gets closer to checker and then gets long again, square. And I should have maybe, I don't know how many people are doing clothes like that.
Goha is here.
Hey, Goha.
From Czechoslovakia, right?
Yeah.
Or is it Poland?
Goha will tell you.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So here our knit curls up. I'm actually going to lower the temperature. I bumped it up to just a little over 2, but I'm going to turn it down to about 1 3/4. So I can drag down. And I'm just going to drag these lines in. They will look more knit. I don't have to sit here and try to do V's or, because it's a small knit, it's a fine knit. So what we see,
Poland, that's what I thought. Goha says that's going to be a lot of details. But with you, it's always a lot of details.
yeah.
So
Now the knit turns, so I need to make sure I turn. And my shadow I've got short here. I'm going to blend them up together. Because as we go over here, we really don't see them. So I'm going to just go, I'm just using the tip of my pen and going up and down. Just to get some texture without it not being too much. And sometimes I lift the pen, sometimes I don't. Depends on how my hand is feeling. Alright, now we can get some darker in here. And the biggest dark is going to be right where the seam folds in. And I still have a lot of detail to do, and I still have the hair to finish, but at least I got more in this time. Unfortunately, I woke up with a flare-up, which is not normal.
you didn't tell me that.
Not today,
Oh.
last week.
Oh,
And yes, I did tell you.
see, I've been focusing, so I took that out of context.
Well, I was saying why I didn't
I was doing my
finish
job.
getting Grandma's hair in. I'm trying to follow the direction of the knit. And right now it's going to look a little weird. And I'm still at the 1 3/4.
Goha says, I think that the details are awesome. I like to spend time on details.
Right.
Got to see Bernadette.
We still need to make Bernard.
We need to do some film some more stuff with
Yeah.
Bernadette.
So we do have a little bit of shadow where some of it's folding. And again, this is all going to go darker. This is just me laying it in so I can see what's going on. Now this knit, we have a gap. And I'm going to go ahead and put the gap in just under 3. Let it heat up for a second. And drag down. Gap. And this isn't even dark enough. But we'll get it in there so we can separate the sleeve from the body.
Teresa's here.
Hey, Teresa. Alright. The reason I'm not going full on dark is this allows me to blend in and move around a little easier. If I went really dark quickly, it's a little harder to blend in. So I'm just taking baby steps on doing that.
Sorry, you said that. It reminded me of the bear from the Olympics. Baby steps, sir.
Just tap those in so that it's not a straight, harsh line.
Hey, Teresa.
Now I can go actually a little darker. I'm going to bump up to 3.5, which I don't think I've really done 3.5 since we've been burning this yet. But this is a dark one. Alright. Get in this real dark so I can be able to adjust where I need to adjust. All fabric has drape, even if it's something that's skin tight. You're gonna find ridges, or not ridges, that's not the right word. Hills, like if the fabric is laying over a muscle, there's going to be a change in the direction of things. And there's going to be a little bit of shadow. It's not going to be a flat piece of fabric.
Fingers are cold again. Just on my left hand.
Normally you're the one warming up my hands. Not the other way. I'm just very quickly just dragging down. I'm letting there be a little bit of texture in this drag down because that helps give the look of the knit we're going for. And then I think I'm gonna, and these are just very small strokes that I'm doing. Very small strokes. And I'm moving the tip quickly. I know it may not always show on camera. Yeah.
Yes, go ahead. Folds in the fabric.
Folds. Bring this over more. I haven't adjusted the heat because I'm moving quickly. Where I just skipped there. I'm okay with that because I can blend it in. Now I'm using more of this half the tip. I need to come up with the best terms to describe what I'm doing. With some visuals. Because everything's so minute and so quick.
Well, I think that actually the angle that you're
Oh, I'm going off.
no, you're not. You're still on.
You are doing your job.
I was watching. I was doing my job. Look, see, you're not off.
And now I'm not.
You weren't before. Oh,
I love you.
I love you too. criticize me.
Don't ask me
Do
for a
my
raise.
job.
Don't ask me for a raise.
I won't, because I know I'm not getting one. I don't care.
Alright. So you were
I was
saying...
going to say something important.
Please do.
I can't remember now.
Story of my life. Alright. We're talking about angle and explaining what I'm doing. Because sometimes it can be hard to explain. Because a lot of times it's just a feeling.
Boston would say it was more than a feeling. But I remember what I was going to say. The angle that you're filming at,
Yeah.
I think it's pretty. You can tell what you're doing.
Okay.
I was going to say easy because I stopped myself because I watch you pyrography all the time, but so I understand what you're doing. But it's pretty clear, like the motions that you're making if you're paying attention.
Okay.
And then like how close and the angle even, because you can see the shadow under the tip.
Alright. Oh, okay. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. There we go. So this still needs to be built up. But I lowered my heat down intentionally to 2.5.
That's weird.
What?
We had 6 likes, and now we have 3.
3 of them took them away.
What the heck, guys? Whatever it is, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do it.
What'd you do?
I don't know.
Alright, so where I have some of those...
Maybe they like, this guy yawns again. I'm unliking.
I don't know. So what I'm doing is I'm finding those little humps that I made. And I'm just quickly, with just the very end of the tip, and moving quickly so I don't get any harsh lines dragging down from them. Now I have to make sure I get the right angle. It's just very quick. In fact, when I go to seal, or when I wipe the wood down, some of these may actually disappear. And I have some of the lines transferred. And when things are going away from us, they are closer together. Oops, I got the wrong angle here. When they are moving towards us, they're further apart. So there's all these little rules, technical rules,
It's all quite technical.
To drawing. If you're going for realism. If you're not, then once you learn the rules, by all means break them. But there's little rules here and there, and sometimes I forget them, that help build up the realism. Now some of these I'm going to move away from the seam to make them appear longer without drawing a whole line all the way down. I don't want a whole line all the way down. So I'm just following my graphite next to it. Very quick motions, just the tip of the pen. Now here, this line, I need to lighten before I do this because I do kind of need to go over it. This is where we see the knit rounding. Up here, we see just the knit coming down without any detail. And I'll lighten that more later. But here, across the yarn, we can actually see some of the knit right here. Because this is the closest part to the camera. Right here on the fabric. This and this are the two closest parts. So in order to get that, we can just tap in, up and down, but not filling it in full. Following the direction. Let's see here. But then we can go back over it with another burn to kind of blend it in so it's not so obvious what we're doing. follow the curve. And I'm breaking it up. Let's see here. We got a darker fold here. So I can put a little bit more pattern. Fix my directional lines, which if I'm a little off right now, they're so light that it'll just look like shading. So I don't have to worry about it. I'm going to tap in texture. We don't have to sit and put every single thing in. That's the beauty. And on some of this, sometimes you can use a ball tip. Let's see here what we got. Got lighter coming down here. And right now it looks off because I still have the graphite. Get our curves. Now here it goes down like this, so we'll just get that in. Now that we got them laid in, we can always go back and darken. This is just so we can erase the graphite and see what we're doing. We do need to get some curves going down. And try to follow, not necessarily in a straight line, break it up. Got a curve. And then when I go to blend this all in, it will make more sense. And we can have a couple of dashes going as well.
You're off.
I'm off.
You weren't, but then you are.
Let's take this off.
Do my job.
Doing your job. Now I'm going to pull the camera back because what you guys are seeing is really up close. And when somebody's viewing your art, unless they go really close, they're not going to be as close as what I'm showing you. But as I start sanding or start blending this in, these won't be as obvious, but they will give texture. So that's why I just wanted to...
Yeah, well, they're pretty faint.
Yeah, right now they're faint. Let's go back in here. Let's see, the tube. Alright. I need to loosen this so I can turn it. There we go. Hopefully that'll keep me out. And then real quick with the ribbing, I do want to lighten that graphite. It's pretty strong. Now our ribbing isn't, it's not awfully strong. Sometimes on, because looking at it, it's 1x2 knit. And people who knit will know what that means. It means there's 2 knit and 1, shoot, I just went blank on the other word. It's a 2x1. So
Stitch?
yeah, it's a stitch, but I can't think of knit and
Pearl?
yes, thank you. Where did you learn that from?
I know words.
You know words. I'm very proud of you. Good job.
I feel like you're being condescending.
No, I'm actually quite surprised.
Because
Excuse me.
Because whenever you explain something, like I'll be like, I come into the room and Val will be doing something like say knitting, and I'll be like, hey, what are you doing? And then we cut to like SpongeBob, like 30 minutes later.
No.
Because she explains everything in detail. Anyway.
I'm just glad you.
And I absorbed some of that.
What's funny is I was saying it as I was looking at pearls, so that's. Anyway, okay, so our ribbing curls up and is lighter on the top, although we do have. I need this other photo.
Now I don't know what that means. I just know the word.
Oh, you don't want me to take that off, do you?
No.
Your hat is knitted.
Yes.
And it's 1x1.
Okay.
Different.
I mean,
stitches make it stretchier.
I need a haircut, so.
I know, that's why I stopped. Because I need to chop your hair. Alright, so I'm just going to drag down.
I cut it on my own again.
No.
What?
Well, you know what happens when you cut your own hair.
Because I end up with no hair?
Yes. Because then I gotta fix it anyway. So I'm going lighter.
There, chat's all thinking, how can you fix no hair?
That's true. So where we have
red,
red,
you can.
I'm gonna actually bump down to 1.5. I'm a little too hot. I've had to fix it.
You did a good job. Let me fix my hair.
So it's a little darker. We've got the knit, or I'm sorry, the pearl. And what that means is the knit is on top, and then where our darker line is, that's the pearl, because it's recessed back into the fabric. Guess how it sits. We do have, again, we're not trying to make this perfect, and I have it burned right here on Grandma's neck. I'll put a little bit of burn here so when I erase, I don't lose it. There we go. And as there's more light hitting it, it's lighter. I'm just going to get my lines in on a low heat. Let me get darker over here.
Yeah, Spence, see, when I did my hair, I had a plan. I actually cut it 3 separate times, and it just got, first time was okay, and then it got a little bit worse, and then it got a little bit worse, and then the last time I just cut it all off. But I missed patches, and anyway, so Val had to fix that, and then when it grew out again, she cut my hair. Actually, did a really good job. So.
That was the first time ever. I got lucky.
Yeah.
Got lucky.
You know what? You did
I was holding back on cutting your hair so I didn't mess it up.
Well, but see, I'd already paved the way by butchering my own hair. So, because I was gonna try for a mohawk, but then when I was on the way to that, it just started looking like a troll doll, and so I was just like, no, I gotta cut all this off. But it was weird though, because I haven't had all my hair cut off since 19.
Well, the Super Toasties saw because I posted a photo.
Yeah.
Of you.
Because the last time I cut all my hair off like that, no, not 88. It would have been 03. Yeah, because on my second deployment, we had to cut our own hair. And,
oh gosh.
And me and one of the lieutenants, we cut each other's hair. We just cut it all off because it was just the easiest way to go.
Alright, so where we have the top of knitting, we have a shadow. So you just put that shadow in, and that shadow grows to encompass the whole. And then over here, where the rib is attached to the sweater, we do have some lines, and it's just showing us how things are laying. Hopefully I'm not confusing anybody, because fabric to me is one of the easiest things to do because you're following, well, you're always following shapes, but sometimes it's easier to see the shapes in the fabric.
Yeah.
Versus, other areas.
It's kind of relaxing too, for me.
Yeah, it's less
There's
thinking.
There's a little bit of leeway.
Yeah.
As well. So if something's not quite right, it's fine.
And most people won't even notice it.
Exactly.
But if you outline everything, that will be noticed.
Yeah.
If you're a little off on a drape, nobody's going to notice that.
You know what I'd like you to do sometime?
What's that?
I'd like you to do like a time lapse of your work. Not a speed video, not a speed paint, but a time lapse of but every 30 minutes take a photo, because the way that Val works very light, and then she moves in darker. And what it ends up looking like is a Polaroid that's developing. And I think that if
Oh,
we did a time lapse,
So every 30.
it would be like the Polaroid developing. I think it would be really cool.
I'm showing you this because every time I stop, I do take a photo.
Okay. Just take
But
more.
do it like time it, so every 30 minutes take a photo.
Maybe even 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
And then.
But
But that way you'd have, you know, if you only have like 10 pictures, then that's a short video.
well, the thing is an area may not grow yet. All right, so now I'm working on Grandma's body, and I can actually go a little darker. So I'm going to bump up to 2, and what I'm doing is half the tip and going back and forth, up and down, because that's how the knit is laying. And I'm letting my pen skip. It's okay if my pen skips, because then we start getting the texture of the knit without it being exact. Now we got to follow it, get the right shape, so as it's coming down it's going to be turning. But I know I need to go as dark as this, or this won't make sense. It'll be too light. So just back and forth really quickly just to lay the texture down. I'm also using the grain because the grain is actually helping. You could do this with any shader that you have.
You know, your video would be really confusing if somebody had lived in a place where there was only wheat fields and no trees. Because then they'd be like, what does she mean, go against the grain?
Oh.
They don't understand.
Oh. What did the grain do to
trying
her?
to throw oats on their board.
It's
not
not
working.
It's
not working.
You had a second cup of coffee, didn't you?
I did. This is 2 Cup Tuesday.
Oh God.
Because we go live. And when we go live, I'm live. Not always, but...
You must have been falling asleep.
No, I went... I know.
No?
No, actually, I had good sleep last night.
Alright, I can even go with ovals. As long as I have them up and down. Actually, it's better if I went with just the up and down. You see how the grain is actually helping me with some texture. And right now, the pen is more flat than up. And then I can raise my heat to get some more of the shading in. And I would say if you're doing a light-haired person with lighter clothes, a dark background will help them to stand out more. If everything on the person is dark hair, dark skin, dark clothes, whatever it may be, you might be better off with a lighter background so that your person stands out more. Because that's what we want. So with Grandma, I'm going to have to go with the darker background in order to have the flyaways in the back, to have the shape of her face, shape of the sweater. It all works together. Let's see here. So we need to turn our knit. And I know it's really light for you guys. It's light for me too. But I'm going to go back and darken it later.
We're at 11:35.
Yeah. So next week, what do you guys want? I'm going to go over these and kind of blend them in a little bit more. Well, I'm waiting for a response. And another way to keep from losing Grandma while we're waiting is I'm going to bump up my heat.
What's left to do? I mean, you gotta define everything.
I gotta get, well, the background, and I gotta detail everything out. That's the only 2 things left for this piece, but I don't know what they want to see on camera. Let's back it out, and I'm gonna pop this one off. No, I guess I hit the wrong one, because you left it there. There we go.
You burned it back in the game.
Not what I meant to hit. I'm trying. See, this is all going to go darker. But when I pull out, look at the texture we have. It doesn't look like a bunch of lines. It's shapes. It still feels like knit. Now, for the dark part of the background, I guess I could just very quickly.
Kathy says detail, please. So we got 1 vote for detail.
Let's get this in here. This is at 3.5. Most of the pin down. And actually, I'm probably a little too hot compared to where I want it to be. But we will live with it.
And Kathy says we'll love it.
Okay. Okay, so I need to finish everything blocked in. Once I have everything blocked in, I will make sure all the graphite is erased. And then I will wipe this board down with denatured alcohol. It gets all the oils off. It gets the rest of the graphite off. It also gets rid of the coating that erasers leave. Yeah.
You sure you don't want to? I mean, you're using denatured alcohol. It's so cold and I'm feeling. Are you sure you don't want to borrow some of my good natured alcohol?
No, I don't need your good nature.
Okay.
Good nature would not work well with the wood because your good natured alcohol has water in it, and we need the least amount of water to keep the grain from rising. The more.
But you can't drink denatured alcohol.
We don't need to drink right now. All right. Yeah, this is just my base. This is not going to be smooth.
Don't tell me what to do.
Do what I want. This will go much darker. This is just the base burn, so that when I go darker with a bigger pen, because this is not the best choice of pen.
Dell says erasers leave a coating?
Yes. Erasers leave their eraser coating. So when you wipe it off, you'll start feeling it. The wood will feel a little different. So when you wipe with denatured alcohol, the wood feels softer and whatnot because you removed that film. There we go. So as I darken this up, this goes even lighter. So this tells me I need to go darker. Everything works together. Everything's a balance. What you do over here affects what happens over here or whatever's next to it. So we have to pay attention to that. I'm not sure how dark I'm going to go. I do know that I need to be at least that dark in order for it to work, because if this is still the darkest areas, the whole piece, including the eyes, it kind of throws it off a little bit. But if I have this dark and then I do the dark background, it all works together. They all play nicely, because if not, then this one is yelling at us. We just have a couple of the darkest areas, so we need more darks in here. In fact, that needs to go darker. So I will. Thing is when the way I burn, I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing next week. The way I burn.
You still have one vote for details.
1 vote for details. Yay, Val's leaving with more knowledge. Yay. Does that mean you pulled it out of my head and I don't have it anymore?
Unlikely.
Unlikely. I'm going to pull back with the camera in my face. I hate it, Gavin. Alright. The thing is, with putting in the first layer of the dark background is going to help me finish off the details, though it's not necessary. Alright, we'll go ahead and do the details. I'll do the dark back off camera. I mean, I'll film it, but it won't be live. That way, when we go to do the details next week, it'll be easier for me to balance. Because we've done lives on dark background, and maybe that would work better. Let's turn that a little bit that way. Yeah, so I need to have at least some more of these darks. Now I don't have to do the whole thing dark. I could do a vignette where it's darker and goes lighter, or goes lighter and then goes darker, then goes lighter out. All of those are artistic choices that I haven't thought of yet, so I don't know.
Gotcha.
I don't know. Burl's telling Spence where to get 99%.
Because he can't get it.
Now, there's still water in Everclear. Don't ask me how I know. I have not tested if the color, because I know over in the UK, what? Nothing. Over in the UK, their your guys' denatured alcohol is colored. I know, I think Sheila may have bought some, maybe. What I don't know is because it's colored, if it stains the wood. If it stains the wood, then it's out. But you want the alcohol with the least amount of water in it. Nail polish remover also has water in it. You just really need to check the numbers, because the water is what raises the grain. The alcohol dries so quickly, or should, as long as you're not coating the wood, that it doesn't have time to raise the grain. Water will raise the grain faster. It's just how it works with wood. So the least amount of alcohol is what you're looking for. Water. Least amount of water.
Val Daniel says, at some point she would like to know how to do a smooth background. Actually, Goha is asking for background as well.
Oh. Well, I do have the whole skeleton group project that we did, and we did focus on a dark background for that one. Okay. That might...
The skull?
Yeah, the skull. The skull.
Yeah. You said skeleton.
Oh, skull.
The whole thing.
I still need to...
Is that done?
Nah. I've got it off to the side to decide if I want any more darks in the... anywhere.
I think it's done.
Okay, well then I need to varnish this so everything comes out even. Clean it off one more time. This is a thick piece of basswood. Yeah, this is a 3/8 inch basswood. And I did that, but I do need to take that into consideration. This is a 1/4 inch basswood. I'm glad to pick this up. This is going to warp more than the 3/8 inch will, because the heat and the grain interact, so it's going to pull this. It's going to do some cupping, and then it's a pain in the butt to
that's when we need the weight.
Frame. That's when we need the weight. Yes.
Flatten it out. And
I may not go full on dark with this one.
Oh, okay.
I think this darkness will be good enough to go. I totally didn't think about that. If I wanted to do a dark background, I highly recommend thicker wood. Now, if you don't care about it, if this fits directly into an 8x10 frame correctly, I cut this wood, so it could be off a little bit. If this fits in an 8x10 frame, then I can do the dark background and not worry about the warp. If I have to mat it to put it into a bigger frame, then I have a problem of it cupping and bending, and trying to straighten that out is it's not fun. So I'm going to have to make a presentation choice before I make a final choice on the background. That's how it's going to have to be. Yep. The skull video, the lives, I think, did we do 2 dark backgrounds? But I do a dark background in layers, not just one heat setting, because then you get indents. But if you start off lighter and work your way up, it's smoother.
Cian is here.
Hey, Cian.
At the end.
At the end, because we're about to say bye.
And you have a question from Val Daniel.
Yes. What type of lighting does everyone use? And do you have it all over your work or off to the side? I have 2 daylight bulbs right here that move around however I want them. Whew, bright. I made them too bright. They're also adjustable. There we go. And then I also have it's a daylight bulb. It's not as 5K as this one up here. And then I have an overhead light if I need it. That's just my regular ceiling fan light to light my work. Let's see here. So I've got it above and I got some to the side. And the reason there's one to this side is because when I'm working, it casts the shadow this way. if I had the light coming this way because I'm right-handed, it would cast the shadow over where I'm working. So you do have to pay, that's the same reason for the camera, on the angle that it's at or side that it's at. You have to pay attention. If you're right-handed, your light should be on the left, over the center and the left. If you're left-handed, it should be on the side light should be on the right. That way, because let's see here, I'll make this brighter like it's see, now I have wherever I'm shading, I've got to worry about the light here.
They're on flexible mounts, though.
Oh yeah, I actually have it linked on Amazon for this specific light.
Can't see you pointing though.
For this specific light. There we go. Let me turn this off. But if I'm over here, the shadow goes behind my pen, and then I don't have that interference. And I don't go very bright because my eyes get mad at me if I do. Alrighty. Yes, it's on an arm. It's on an arm that I have shelving in front of me. That's where my pens are, or my burners are, and I've got a speaker up top. And it's what do you call these things?
Huh?
What the light's attached with? It's the clamp. It's a clamp. That's the word. Where do I find the link? Down in the description of the video, there should be my Amazon affiliates page. And that should be under Pyrography tools. I should have put it under there. Hopefully it's under there. Yeah. And then this is just a regular clamp desk lamp that has a 5K bulb in it.
And you have some tissue over it to soften.
Yes, I have some. It's not tissue. It's tissue paper to soften the light, so it's not so strong. Alrighty.
Isn't there something that we need to tell them?
Yes. Say it with me. You know what we need.
Okay.
Say it. Say it. Hold on. Let me get there. You're awesome.
I would have got away with it too if it wasn't for those
you
kids.
You can do this.
Meddling dogs.
Why? Because you're a pyro artist.
Oh yeah.
Don't forget to hit like and share and subscribe if you're new, and we will be back next Tuesday with details. Happy burning, guys. Bye. What you want for lunch?